We are ready and we are live. This is the Higher Consciousness, Lower Standards podcast. What's going on, Jordan?
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, bruh?
Oh, getting ready for the rest of tonight, today.
Tonight, today, who we got on today, bro?
Today we got Mr. Tyler Trahan, aka Speed Bump.
What's up, Speed Bump? How you doing, man? Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
it's a pleasure being here. Everything is great on my end.
Right on, right on.
Can't complain.
Cool, man. Yeah. What you Why don't you start off with a little introduction of yourself to the viewers?
All right. I'm Tyler Trahan, aka Speed Bump. I am from the south of Louisiana, a town called Lafayette, Louisiana. Um, they like to call us Cajuns, aka coon asses.
Right on.
Go ahead, Kyle. Do what you do. I'm trying to work on this, making sure that we got this going.
Okay. Yeah. Let's so you are you have a physical disability, correct?
Right.
Would you mind sharing what you deal with on a daily basis?
Okay. Um, yeah. So I got a condition called CP, cerebral palsy, and what it is it is a birth defect. I was born with a low oxygen level, so it shuts down the brain. It shuts down the part of the brain that controls my legs. There's multiple cases. I got a lucky. Uh, I'm not like mentally handicapped, physically handicapped. My arms work, my mouth works, my legs still work. They just don't work like 100%. Like I could still, walk with with arm crutches or some kind of mobile support.
Okay. Well, at least your dick works, right?
Yeah, right. My dick still works.
Okay, that's good. You're good. You're doing all right then, right? Well, I'd like to I brought a little treat to start tonight off, and it's called Mad Honey. I've heard about it. I've tested it out, and I'd like to slow down a little bit tonight before we hit this speed bump.
Kyle, where'd you get
So,
that mad honey at, bruh?
it is called the Real Mad Honey Company.
Where are they out of?
They are based in the UK.
Oh, the UK,
Mm-hmm.
ironically.
Ironic. I believe it's the UK.
So you're talking about King George's domain?
King George.
Yeah, King George.
I was talking about what is King Charles. King
Oh yeah, King
Charles.
Charles. I don't know why I was thinking about King George. We're not live on Facebook. It didn't work. So everybody's just gonna tune in on YouTube tonight.
All right, cool. That's
Uh
all, that's all
can you
good.
throw that link up where you got the honey?
The link. Shoot, I think it's called the Real Mad Honey Company.com.
TheRealMadHoney.com.
Yeah, I did a little research trying to find out what's a good one, and I've seen a lot of good reviews of this brand specifically.
Let me see if
Look,
I can figure out a way to get this going. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now we're rocking. think so.
Oh no, my dick doesn't work.
Uh-oh. That's okay, man. Let's see
But
here.
you know what I'm saying? Um, should we throw out a question for people to play with? Have a
Yeah,
little
we
fun in the
should.
comments.
Let's see. Maybe Speed Bump, you got any questions out there for the audience?
Not. I
Kyle
mean,
does if you don't.
not really.
Okay. No worries.
Well, we've had a lot of cryptid talk lately, you know, in the past couple episodes, and I thought it would be fun to give everybody a chance to create their very own cryptid. So,
Okay.
if they could create their own cryptid, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. What kind of cryptid would you create, Kyle?
Oh man, what kind of cryptid would I create?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm talking like half Bigfoot, half centaur, you know, instead of like a horse, it's like half Bigfoot but shaped like a horse.
Yeah.
You know, some weird shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Something
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, dude. So you deal with cerebral palsy. You got any projects in the works going on right now?
So, uh, right now I'm kind of just focusing on my comedy right now, and my tamales. Really,
Comedy and tamales. What a
yeah,
fucking
comedy and
combo.
tamales. Taking care of myself, taking care of my wife, taking care of my stepkid, stuff like that.
Sweet,
Right on.
man. So you're making tamales. How do you make the tamales? Is that I know it's a process and I've never even tried to make tamales in my life. I always buy them out of a cooler from a lady that's outside in a parking lot in Walmart.
So the way we do it, we get a like a boiling pot, put it on the steamer, and we take all the ingredients. Sometimes we mainly use pork and chicken. So what you do, you take the chicken, you process the chicken, you take the onions and you chop the onions, and you just put them all together in a pot, and then whenever they're done, it takes overnight. So overnight we let it cook, and then whenever it's done, we take it, we put it in like fucking 4x4 gallons, little containers, and we take it and we put the masa and the chicken or the pork, and we just put it together. We take the corn husk, we put like 4 or 5 or how many you want to roll at a time. I normally do like 5 of them at a time. This is gonna be my third time doing it, and my third time was kind of like slow, and then my second time was like bam, 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 like a like a samurai.
Practice makes
Hell yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
You ever
dude.
tried deep frying a tamale? Like
I
that's
haven't done
good.
that. Um, but my comedy, I'm kind of just winging it, doing open mics and stuff like that. I did one this Thursday, and I'm gonna do another one coming up Thursday until I could start hosting my own shows and stuff. That's my main goal right now. That's what I'm working on.
You want to start
Nice.
hosting your own shows?
Yeah,
Nice, man. And where'd you say you're from?
Lafayette,
Lafayette.
Louisiana.
So what's the comedy scene like in Lafayette?
It's kind of dead right now. I actually, hey, you want to hear a funny story?
Of course.
A funny story. I got kicked out of the local comedy.
How did you get kicked out, bro?
Okay, so I got kicked out because there's another dude. He's an older gentleman, and he claimed that I was stealing his, his set. I was stealing his jokes and stuff like that. And I'm like, how am I stealing your jokes? I mean, yeah, we're gonna tell similar jokes because we're in a wheelchair. So me and him got in an argument. Long story short, we got in an argument. I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you on a personal level. He's like, no, F this, F that, blah, blah, blah. Never want to talk to you, da, 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 whatever, whatever. I said, whatever. I'm just going to let it go. And then the Tuesday, I did another show and I got up there on stage. They introduced me as Speed Bump. I'm like, hello, my name is Speed Bump. I got an announcement that I want to make. I'm a fraud. I can actually do stand up. I can stand up. Uh, but I'd rather use my wheelchair because people in wheelchairs are funnier. So I use my wheelchair as a gimmick to steal other people's jokes, and they cut me off. They cut my mic.
What?
they cut
Yeah.
they cut me off, and they didn't even kick me out like in person. So I got home that night and I posted something on Facebook about like, hey, I feel like I got robbed on my time on my set, and I feel like I got cut. And so John, the guy that hosts the local comedy, he's like, hey, I don't appreciate what you did because I like Mr. Don. I have Mr. Don's back, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And first of all, you didn't even tell any jokes. You were just kind of like firing at everybody on especially Mr. Don. And none of your jokes are funny. None of your jokes are, original. They're all stock jokes, blah, 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 whatever, whatever.
Huh.
Trying to be, bigger and better than me
Yeah.
because they've been doing it longer than I have.
How long have you been doing it?
2 years.
2 years. Cool, man. Yeah, dude, I've noticed that you're a pretty outspoken fella. So I can see where if you're rolling in on somebody else's territory where they've kind of established themselves, and then you say something that they might have said similar in the past. I can understand where they would have, been like, "Hey, you're stealing my jokes," or whatever. He might have felt like you were just trying to take the spotlight from him. You know what I mean?
Right. And
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Hell yeah. So you're trying to start your own,
Mhm.
you're going to start, you're trying to start your hosting your own open mic. Is that what you say?
Right.
Cool, man.
That'd be cool.
Hell
And hey,
yeah.
either way you look at it, energy is energy. So you
Right.
got their energy either way.
Hey, I did a show. Like I said, I did a show Thursday. It wasn't even a comedy show. It was an open mic, like, slam poetry, music, just art. And I was the only one that did comedy that night besides one other person. And I stole that show, and I was like, hey, I want to get off. I think I want to get off the stage. And they're like, no, more, more, encore, encore. I was like, yeah. The energy was it was great.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah.
So do you struggle with any, like, are you in recovery from anything, or have you ever
Yeah,
battled?
I am a recovering meth addict
Okay.
and just drugs in general, and alcohol. I dealt with alcohol. But I recently going on, let's see, a year and a half, almost 2 years sober.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's pretty
And
Congratulations
good, dude.
on that.
it's not the first time that I actually been sober. Like I've been sober like multiple times, but I never had the structure. The structure wasn't there. The mindset wasn't there. The want wasn't there. But this time it's different because I actually have the structure and the help and you know I just have people and my mind is there. I have a better, community, that wants to help me and, see me succeed in my comedy and just life in general. It's, having, what else? I used to be very pessimistic about the idea of a higher power and God or whatever you want to call it. But here lately, I've been coming a little bit more optimistic about the idea. I'm still not really 100% sure what that idea is, but it's definitely more. I'm coming to the understanding that I need some source of higher power and help. It's okay, and it's okay to be not okay.
Yeah,
It's okay to
absolutely.
ask
Yeah.
for help whenever you're not okay.
Well, and the kingdom of heaven is within.
Right.
That's one part people seem to forget and brush right past.
Justin said, I asked the wheelchair man if he's struggling with anything. Justin, I meant like substances.
I like Justin.
Getting up hills, stuff like that.
Hold on. My boy Jamie said stairs, going up ramps.
I mean, I struggle with all kinds of shit.
Kyle, I noticed the moment I asked do you struggle with anything? Did you just dome the rest of that Mad Honey?
Maybe.
Like,
yes, I did.
have you ever?
It has a very interesting smoky flavor to it because you know how they smoke the bees out. Well, the honey keeps that smoky flavor to it, so it's almost like eating smoked honey. It's
Hell
interesting.
yeah.
Straight from Nepal.
Is that in China?
China?
Is Nepal in China?
Fuck. Put me on the spot here. I don't I don't remember, man.
Nepal is to China as Lafayette is to Mississippi.
Yeah.
Lafayette. Was that True Blood or something?
No, I don't know. I just said that. I don't know.
I think there's a character on True Blood that is named Lafayette from
Lafayette.
Louisiana.
Is that True Blood a vampire show?
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
vampire.
it was a mixture.
Speaking of vampires, I'm pretty sure I'm onto one. I'm pretty sure I know who is a vampire, but I will keep that to myself. Ha!
No, I want you to say it after I say these messages. So my favorite cryptid would be a vampire in a wheelchair, and then they have to feed on somebody, and once they feed on that first human for the night, then they can stand up and fly around and do vampire shit.
It's just a will around. Hey, baby, sit in my lap.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The reason I asked about your if you struggled with addiction was because you made a pretty lengthy post maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and you was talking about addiction and people that still say that they're recovering addicts. And I thought it was an interesting statement. I mean, I'm not here to prove anybody right or wrong. Everybody has their opinion and everybody's open to that opinion because that's what
Right.
makes the world go round. And I just thought it was an interesting take because of something that you might have, you struggled with for so long did you mention that do you have a higher power, or are you still actively searching for a higher power?
So like I said, I'm slowly, getting into it. Like I'm familiar. It's, I just don't want to, you know, give anybody the rights of my righteousness just yet. I want to have the mobility of saying, "Hey, I did this," not "Hey, somebody above me or below me or beside me did this."
Yeah. I relate with that super heavy, man, because when I first I'm 6 years now. My sobriety date is July 5th of 2019. Hey, behind you. Uh I just saw a person. Was that a fucking ghost?
Yeah, that's the ghost of my past.
He doesn't have a wheelchair.
He can walk.
That's fucking awesome. That could be your higher power, man. Um, so when I got sober, I was just so pissed off at the world. I was tired of going to jail. I have a long ass rap sheet. I was tired of going to treatment. I was just tired of myself ultimately. But the longer that I sat in jail, and I've probably been in treatment concurrently maybe 18 months, almost 2 years. Not at the same time, but when I add up all the times that I've been to treatment, got out, or just time incarcerated in treatment, it's been about 2 years.
Right.
And when I got to that 16th and 17th month, I was just really fed up. And I was like, you know what? I know I'm not going back now. And I would go into these groups, man, and we would have to establish a higher power. And I've said this before on the podcast, but my higher power was Matthew McConaughey and Kanye West, because I also felt like that I wasn't able to give something that was greater than me the credit for me being locked up. There was nothing in there doing time with me. It was always me in the groups. And then maybe this was in 2022. So 3 years into my recovery, I had a real profound spiritual awakening. And what I realized was, yes, I can give myself the credit, but conscientiously, I had already accepted the fact that there was a power greater than myself living within me. So I needed to give that power, which is also me, mind, body, spirit, the credit. And then I started to think like this infinite unconditional love, dude, that I carry, and that was just brought into my life at 1 millisecond. I was like, yo, this could be my higher power. I could live in love all the time. And if God is love, then that could be my higher power. And let me say something real quick, dude. When I say God, I say God is in the trees outside, the spiders, the universe, the same stars that are in the sky. The creator made something that goes so far out of our own galaxy, but also created me. And I couldn't wrap my fucking brain around that. But what I did feel at that very moment was a sense of infinity. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, holy shit, man. Like it was me, because my soul is connected, is a part of what created this in the first place. So why not give it the credit? Why not give yourself the credit?
Right. Ooh.
Kyle and I were
What do
talking
you?
about it last night because we got stood up by Mike. And hey Mike. See you on Friday, Mike. No, I'm kidding, Mike. Get your rest, baby boy. We'll see you on Friday. Uh so since we were already in the studio, we had this conversation about love and about having a human experience while we're here, because I believe that we are souls having a human experience, not humans always having a spiritual experience. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that through that thought and through that belief, that spiritually you're kind of on the right path by giving yourself the credit at this point in time. And I think that you're tapping into something that's going to open your mind and your heart and your conscience profoundly, man. And that's fucking exciting to be a part of.
It's
Right,
kind of
dude. Oh, I had one more connection that I made. What was it that Yeshua said? He said, "I am the way, the path, the light." Right, and there was this weird thing that popped in my head. What if you split that his name into 3 separate pieces, and it says, "Yes, you are the way, the path, the light."
and I said something like that on. I posted something on Facebook a while back. I think you
So
said
it's
something about it.
What'd you
yeah,
say?
Pretty much about the whole thing about God. God isn't above. God isn't within you. The devil's not below you. He's within you. Heaven and hell is also within us. We are kind of are higher, are greater, something like that.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
man.
the battle between good and evil is a spiritual one. It's a battle within yourself that you constantly have on a daily basis.
But then is evil really even something that we should run away from? Because if the creator created everything, then in this reality, the creator also established evil so we could understand what the opposite of that is, which would be love.
That's the question.
Now, the
That's what I
question is
can't wrap
what
my
you.
head around. I can't wrap my head around it because it's like there's this talk about, the whole reptilian races and how maybe potentially, the Vatican's full of reptilians, or the royal family in the UK are reptilians. And it's like this whole thing of like, oh, they're gonna put digital ID chips in people, or they can't buy or sell anything, and that digital ID chip could potentially be a way for them to harvest your spark of the divine, your God essence within you, basically. Which is like, if they exist, why would they need to harvest the God essence if they exist? Because wouldn't that mean it's also in them anyways?
Mm-hmm.
Or that's the part I don't get.
I just think that since we're having this experience of duality, you can't have one without the other. So, and we're having an experience of learning in duality. People get to choose a side, man. They get to choose whether they're going to be pieces of shit and wreak havoc on the world. And then from our perspective, we get to see, well, we don't want to be like that. We really want to channel the opposite energy of what that is. So we're going to intentionally evoke love out of our conscious, because again, we're humans having a duality experience where we can emotionally feel what they're doing and then have a reaction to that, feel it, filter it, flow out into a sense of love, and then change that narrative.
True. Because I mean, I guess everybody could potentially have the Antichrist within them if they choose to act upon it.
Molly was talking about that on the morning practice.
But then there's also the other side of the coin where I've been seeing all these, celebrities specifically talking about, the pretty satanic-ish stuff. And one thing that's been presented on a ton of celebrities that I've seen in a video is a black butterfly tattoo. And I don't know exactly what that connection is, but all of them that have dressed up in evil, yeah, all of them that have dressed up in like, weird demonic type freaking outfits and stuff on stages and all that kind of thing. They have a black butterfly tattoo. A lot of them do. And then I saw something very weird today. And I'll show you. That is King Charles. And right there in that painting of the real painting of King Charles in the UK, that is a black butterfly. Which I'm like, he's a king. And then I told Bear Love about it. And then he was like, oh, yeah, you mean the blood descendant of Vlad the Impaler. And I'm just like, okay, that's a weird connection there. Interesting.
You know what Bear taught me?
Huh.
He taught me that President Putin and President Trump are brothers from another dimension, and they had a war on Mars, and that war destroyed a moon, which became known as our asteroid belt, and I was fucking mind blown. I love that theory, dude. Because if you look at it, they're trying to make the people that they are in power of believe that they are good. But are their motives and intentions truly pure and good? What are they doing? Here's a I want to put this back up here. The battle between good and evil, it seems, is nothing but a words and a war of action. How can you relax when time is the enemy, life's a disease, and dying is the remedy? Jamie, what if I told you we never die, though? We can die in this reality that we're having, but if the truth is if we're spiritual beings having a human experience, then we really never even die, and we're supposed to come to the fruition that in this reality we're only having this experience of learning through suffering.
Yeah, I agree. The Celestine prophecy.
Yeah, I mean that's
Dude,
kind
your
of the whole
ghost just
point.
agreed.
Well, it's interesting why we would agree to come here to have an experience of pain and suffering, and the whole purpose is trying to learn how to transmute that and heal ourselves through the pain to become a better version of ourselves in order to not project our pain onto others, which is a very difficult task.
Right.
It's a very difficult task. Owning your own shit, calling yourself out when you're in the wrong, knowing when you're the one fucking up and you're in the wrong. That's the hardest part, is to accept your own accountability in that role.
Dude, that's the hardest thing that I'm battling right now.
It's a difficult thing for a lot of people to deal with, because a lot of people they would rather push the blame onto somebody else, And at the end of the day, you could blame anybody, but really, it's you. It's you.
Yeah.
It's always you.
Yep.
You can't blame anybody else for your energy that you put out.
Right.
What kind of are you battling with accountability, Speed Bump? Is that what you're saying?
Basically taking responsibility for my own, my own actions, just basically blaming each and everybody individually for for what they did, basically letting go of what my dad did to me, my mom did to me, my you know I'm over exaggerating, but millions of girlfriends that I've been through. I've been through, you know, already two marriages, two divorces,
Getting rid of resentment.
getting rid of resentment pretty much.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, when you hold on to things like grudges, regrets, resentments, the only person you're hurting is yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, man. You're drinking poison and expecting someone else to get sick from it.
Hmm.
Fucking spot on right there.
And I remember being in the shit myself. Where I thought drowning all my sorrows away in the bottom of a bottle, and being able to just like blame everybody else for everything. And if I just have another drink, I'll numb myself to the problem. And there's
Right.
so many nights I would just go to bed puking my guts up, and then waking up taking another drink. As soon as I wake up, first thing on my mind. And then you just realize, like, oh shit, I'm stuck in this cycle of like, this isn't good. I'm not holding myself accountable for anything. I'm blaming everybody else. I have grudges, resentments, regrets, all of the above. And I
Right.
have nobody else to blame but
But
myself.
yourself. Yeah.
Facts.
That's
So Kyle,
that's the hard part.
how did you get rid of those resentments?
How did I get rid of them?
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness. I realized that I was the problem. I was always the problem. And because I didn't own the role that I played in other people's suffering, I didn't start to look at myself until I realized and accepted that, yeah, I was definitely a piece of shit to those people. And I shouldn't. I recognized that I was not a good person to those people. And in recognizing that, it gave me a nice foothold on what I should do moving forward to not let that happen again.
Introspection, forgiving yourself, support. Don't make mistakes.
It's very important, because if you can't go home, lay down, sit with your thoughts alone with your own feelings, and you're not truly at peace, happy with yourself, something's off. Because we're supposed to be loving. We're supposed to have each other's backs.
Yeah.
Got to do right by God. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all got divine in us. And when we hurt another person, another fellow human on this earth, that's a direct hurt to God. Like,
Yeah.
Well, if it affects them conscientiously, then absolutely. If they're living or if they're choosing a path of being a sociopath or a psychopath where they just really don't give a fuck anyway, then then we wouldn't even be affecting them. So that's so interesting, man. How some people just, I guess that goes and leads into, I guess not everybody has a soul because some people can't get to the experience of love, which is part of the duality that's here. And if we are the way that we are, then there has to be an opposite of that, and
Yep.
that would probably be soulless people.
but how does one exist without having a soul? That's what I fail to understand. Because if we all have God within us, then how does one not have a soul? Even if in the beginning, let's say we did sign contracts and we chose to come here and we chose to experience all the things that we picked to experience in the greater scheme of things. How does one not have a soul if they chose to pick that specific route?
Mhm.
My opinion is that hurt people. They're not soulless, they're just damaged.
That falls under, I don't believe people at the core of who they are truly evil, but I do believe they do evil things.
They have that choice. We're in a reality of choices and consequences, and
Yep.
everything has a consequence.
Hmm. And that's karma, man. What you put out is what you're gonna get back. If you
Yeah.
put
Amen.
out a bunch of bad shit, it's gonna come right back to you one way or another.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see if anybody wants to. Let's open up the audience.
Open up the audience.
Let's open it up, bro.
But you know what's scary? And I know y'all both been through this, but feeling feelings that you haven't felt in a while.
Hmm. Yeah. It's what do you experience when you have to deal with that? How do you feel when you feel your own feelings?
How do I feel? How
Yeah.
do I feel anxious, I feel scared, I feel unsure. Um Pretty much all that.
And that's necessary. Those are the
Yeah.
feelings that make you actually start thinking. Because it's like if you don't know how to sit with yourself and you're anxious because you have to sit with yourself, well, then you're going to start questioning why. Why is it that I'm feeling this way?
Ooh,
When you
accent
start,
all the time.
it's all about the whys. Why? What is it in me
What's going on,
that is making me feel this way?
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to keep peeling back the layers of that onion. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be multiple layers to it. You peel one away, there'll be another one, and then there'll be another one,
You crack
and
me.
then there'll be another
Yeah,
one. But
baby.
eventually, you will get to the core of that motherfucker.
That'll be
Once you
right.
figure out what that core is, then you can plant it and start growing something.
I was crying earlier, cutting them onions.
Well, you'll cry peeling your layers off to yourself too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was
And you didn't cut your
having,
finger off.
you know, speed bump. I feel that, you know, you're having an experience right now where you're kind of at a crossroads or either a fork in the road, and you're having all these different feelings and emotions that you don't understand because you always used to drown them out with drugs and alcohol. But
Yeah.
you one thing that I have noticed is that you're most likely really fucking hard on yourself, and
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
give yourself a little credit, man. And you know why you got to give yourself credit? Because instead of going back to drugs and alcohol, you put pen to paper, you started writing comedy. You started making light out of the things, the bullshit that you was finding yourself in, and then taking it out there and sharing that with other people to make them feel good.
Right.
Dude, that's an incredible coping mechanism that you was just like, I'm not going back. Fuck that. I'm gonna keep pushing forward, and I'm going to no matter what happens, I'm going to find a way to express these feelings, express these emotions in a way to where I can help others, because laughter is it's literally one of the best medicines. And it's funny that laughter is such an emotion that we can use when we're going through hard times, that
Yeah.
even my spiritual mentor, dude, he would tell me, dude, I can't fucking stand it that every time that you go through some bullshit or something bad happens, you always revert back to making light of it, making it a joke. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, if I can make it into a joke and then kind of laugh at myself about the bullshit that I'm going through, then that means that I'm not using, and that's a good coping skill.
Right.
So I said all that to say, man, like, don't be so hard on yourself, bro. Don't be so self-critical. And I'm speaking to myself when I tell you these things too, because I'm very self-critical. I'm constantly thinking about how I can do this better, or how I can say something in a way to make somebody understand what I'm going through, or help them understand what they're going through. And ultimately, I'm just meant to be myself. I'm just meant to be my most authentic self, doing uncomfortable shit, and then
Yep.
surrendering the outcome after that. Because if I do
Yeah.
the authentic, if I do the uncomfortable shit, then I've already surrendered the outcome to what's to be. I don't have control of that. So I have to let that shit go, put it into the universe with the energy and the intention and the motive of love, helping, understanding, compassion, empathy, all those things encompassed into one, and then just let it be. The people that are going to be there are meant to be there anyway. So you're just supposed to just be yourself in every single moment.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's a positive you took away from, getting sober? Because, like, I know for me, I didn't truly feel like I started actually living until I was able to process and experience every moment of life without a substance, without something tying me down, you know?
Yeah. So a positive that comes from, my perspective, my personal opinion about why I got sober. Why I got sober was to, you know, to be able to feel my emotions, sad, angry, anxious, anxiety, and to fully love myself, and to have a better life, trying to be a better version of myself, to not only to better my life, but to better my relationship with my mom, my dad, my sister, my friends, my wife, my kids, and just being able to show the love to the ones that love me, and that were always there to support me, even though I tried my hardest to push them out of my life, but they still like, hey, not leaving you, because I'm the only, I'm not who you think I am, and the people, I'm learning, you know basically smoking mirrors, and who's there and who's not, who's gonna be there for my what's the word I'm looking for,
Sanctuary.
my sanctuary, my well-being, and not just for their convenience. A lot of people come and go, and I'm starting to, a lot of my friends that I grew up with, from like, from birth to pre-K, kindergarten, all the way up. As we got older, we kind of went our separate ways, and you know some of us are still, dead from like overdose, and taking their own, their own life, unaliving themselves, and marriage, and like, and I didn't understand that. I wanted their their love and their attention, and I realized that I wasn't hurting anybody but myself for begging for their attention, because I knew that they were gone, but I didn't want to I didn't want to realize. I didn't want to, grasp onto that idea that I lost all my friends.
That must have been pretty hard, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I
You know, they
lost some
say,
friends, dude. I lost my sister to a heroin overdose. My dad was a raging alcoholic. He passed away. My uncle died of cancer in my house when I was 12. I watched him go through that without any type of chemo. I just watched him dwindle away, dude. I watched two of my bestest homies from this last treatment. They were the youngest people in the treatment facility. They were 18 and 19, both of them dead, one over a fentanyl overdose. And I couldn't understand why the creator would take things away from me that were making a profound energy in my being, Then I had a realization, brother.
So,
You're alive right now. And you speaking on those things right now is carrying on their memory. It's carrying on their energy. So a part of them truly lives within you. But again, we have to understand that here, just here, and this is if we are infinite beings, then here is probably less than 1% of what we're going to experience beyond this. And so in this reality, we are having a experience of suffering. And the
yeah,
point of it all
life
is
is
to understand that yes, everything goes away. One day, hopefully not while I'm here and he's super old, one day my son's going to dwindle away. One day I'm going to fall away from here. Everything here is going to go away. And when we accept that and we understand that everybody is meant to have this experience, because the only way that we get out of this loop,
yeah,
this
Mhm.
constant
Matrix.
reverberation of existence is through love, then ultimately we have to understand that we have to love ourselves enough that the people that have come before us are waiting for us just right on the other side of that door, man. And that door's death. That door is lacking existence in who Speed Bump is right now. It's lacking existence in who Kyle is right now. It's lacking existence in who I am in this very moment. We go away, but we become reconnected as one again. And I didn't believe that, dude. This is all way beyond even my understanding. But the only way that I know this is because God told me so, bro. He fucking told me this shit. I have no other. I'm not a smart person. I wasn't ever a philosopher. I wasn't ever the type of person that could really think outside the box. I was always the type of person that's like, why does this bullshit keep happening to me? And then one day I decided that I didn't want to feel like this anymore. And that was the day I had that spiritual awakening. And everything that I have been taught as a child, from Christianity to reading Buddhism to reading the Tao Te Ching became truth. And nobody's really ever wrong. You know what I'm saying, man? So we have to go on each moment, every single moment. Right now is a new moment. Now is a new moment. We do this again and again and again and again through love. And then, bro, when we do this enough times here and our clock runs out, it's not like we're going to have that understanding of what death is anyway. Do you remember being born? So
No.
why would you even think that you're going to even have to understand the experience of dying? And you're going to have this reality then of all these people that have made this emotional profound effect on who you are right now and why you even do the things that you do, why you're even sober right now, meet you where you're at and be like, what a fucking crazy ride that was, huh? Sorry for making you feel the way that you had to feel in those
Yeah.
moments. But don't you feel something greater now? Don't you have a different understanding of who we are? Because they'll be the ones to tell you, yeah, bro, we're just these souls and these spirits having a human experience.
Yeah. I thought of it like you know, the Jim Carrey. I always reference Jim Carrey. You know, Jim Carrey says Jim Carrey is just another character that he plays, as you know, as you are Jordan. That is your soul's character. I am Kyle.
Right.
That is my soul's character. You are Tyler. That is your soul's character.
Right.
You know, and when we are done with this life, our souls get the choice to choose another character to play. You know, it's like,
Jim Carrey. I love Jim Carrey.
yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
cool.
I'm gonna come back as a tick.
A lot of people think Jim Carrey's, crazy because of some of the things that he speaks on.
Yeah, it's dude, his mindset is interesting, but it makes so much sense. I never got it before, but I do now. I understand it and his perspective. We are just vessels for, God to have an experience through us. And when you stop seeing people as people and start seeing them as a divine being, which we all are, then why would you want to hurt another person? Why would you want to treat somebody poorly because of the pain you hold within yourself? When
You
you
know
know
how
you are directly hurting you're hurting the divine. Why are you doing
Right.
I think you should respond.
this? you
Uh,
know,
I understand where you're coming from. It's something that I have to come to bearings with and coming to, acceptance of that divine being.
it goes very deep and it's up to the user of the vessel to have the discernment to figure it out for themselves. You know, if
Facts.
That's fact.
we can talk, we can preach, we can put perspectives out all day, every day. But
Right.
if you're not open minded to receive it or willing to receive it, then it's not going to resonate with you and you're just going to brush it off. And that's absolutely okay. Like everybody has free will, everybody has freedom of speech. Apparently not in the UK right now, but you know what I'm saying. We all have the choice. Everybody has a choice.
We do have that choice, but what we're given right now is an opportunity to understand that this is probably the closest to the truth that we can understand at this moment. And so, with given the knowledge and the intuition and the spiritual principles that go along with that, you don't have to do this anymore. I believe, and this is just my thought, speed bump, but I I find you very endearing, brother, because if we chose our life path, if we chose everything that we were to endure and experience while we're here, kudos to you, man. Kudos to you because you chose a very difficult path. You chose an extremely hard experience to have in 2025 when the world is going the way that it is, and to live your life on a day to day basis of this understanding of suffering, this understanding of hate, this understanding of lack of acceptance. You can come to this realization that, man, I'm really not giving myself the benefit of the doubt here, and I need to probably let go of that tension because I don't have to keep doing this shit no more. I don't have to keep coming back to this level of hell where we're at right now and putting myself in positions to learn and experience because I've come to the acceptance of love. I've come to the acceptance that God is within me. I've come to the acceptance that, hey, I don't have to be right about everything. Everything that somebody says that I might disagree with is for me to have that experience of understanding, like, hey, maybe they're teaching me something in this moment of what I don't want to be. You know what I'm
Like, don't
saying, man?
follow anyone else's path. Right. But always leave the trail.
Yeah. Well, there's something that resonates with me that just kind of solidifies how I feel about the whole us being divine beings concept is there it's literally Yeshua in the Bible has so many references to saying that exactly. He, it's crazy. And he even says, there will be many more Christs doing greater works than I. Like it's all there. He says it. He is telling us that we have so much hidden potential, but we've been taught our whole lives that
Yeah.
God is external. They took something that Yeshua stood for
Get it, Kyle.
and preached, and
Preach, brother.
they turned it around and made him an idol. The very thing they say don't make something out of. They made him an idol when he's
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
what
tell
I'm. Yeah,
everybody to love each other and love God, because to love another is also to love God, because everybody is of God. That's
see,
the whole fucking thing.
I was,
That's
I was. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
See, I was brought up Catholic. I was brought up to, accept the body of Christ and the blood of Christ and, all that, read your Bible, pray every night, eat, pray, love, pretty much. And that's what kind of like scared me, kind of like guided me in the wrong direction because I was taught the wrong way to accept God.
Well, you don't want to eat the body of Christ and the blood because that's also a ritual. And second of all, prayer actually does work.
Yes.
Absolutely. Prayer 100% works, and the universe does listen. So that is absolutely right. And I 100% recommend people actually take prayer seriously because the universe does listen. And we are the universe. The universe is within us. So it's like we create our own fields, we create our own vibration, the state of being. And one thing that really resonates with being so connected with each other, with me personally, is the fact that I've heard about the life review after we die. And then there's the other part of that is part of the life review is we have to experience ourselves through everybody who had to, experience us. through their perspective. So every person you come across, every person you've ever done wrong, every person you've screwed over, you have to experience that through their perspective, through how they felt in that moment of you putting your energy into them.
Right.
How does that not resonate in how deeply we are connected with each other?
Yeah,
Crazy.
some orange juice.
That's deep. That's real deep. If you have to experience yourself through another's perspective, like, can't you not see why some people would consider this experience hell?
I do.
I agree with that shit right there. Damn right.
I've been through my own, my own perspective of my own hell. Going through, like I said, I didn't bring this up, but multiple, can't even count hands and toes how many, surgeries I've been through, how many times I've been sober, how many times I've been married, and how many times I've been divorced, how many times I've been scalded by my own, my own blood, my own mom, my own dad, my own, my own. And going through that experience and being bullied my whole entire life, you know just because I wore glasses or because I was in a wheelchair or because I got piercings or because I got tattoos or because I listened to a certain type of music or or I play video games, I'm a nerd, or play Magic of the Gathering and stuff like that. And people are mean. People I brought this up in as a joke the other day. People that are able-bodied, they're just fucking assholes. They're mean. They like to pick on the disabled people all the time.
You ever think maybe that's part of their karma experience?
But I learned this in my journey in life that people don't bully you, they bully themselves. They reflecting their own mirror, they see themselves in you, so they reflect their pain onto you because they don't know how to deal with their own pain, so they gotta call it you pain.
Yep.
Well, and, people have freedom of speech and free will, and we also have freedom of speech and the free will to block their ass. So
The entire chat's feeling convicted right now.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude.
It's part of the duality, man, and it's jokes. Well, partially, but
But I I was like, so I was probably like 3 or 4 years old whenever I had my first experience of surgery. So instead of my legs growing, like that, they grew like this. So my legs would always stay like this instead of separate like that. They would stay scissored. And so what they would do, this is graphic, but what they would do, they would go inside, they would cut me like yay big, and they would go inside and they would take the hip bone and they would break it and they would put plates and rods and screws and like I would be in a body cast all the way up to my chest. And that was like the worst experience ever. But I didn't let it stop me. Like I remember going to my grandma's house out of town, and we would go spend the night me and my cousins and my family, we would go out there, and we had our own little like I guess you would call it like a dining room where we go hang out and play video games and stuff. And the old people, they would play like Blu-ray and cards, and smoke their cigarettes and just talk shit about their us and stuff, and French. French growing up was sacred. We could, as kids, we didn't know it unless we went to like some kind of like secret school, like like Hogwarts. They call it immersion schools, and they taught every subject in French. So our grandparents and our parents and our they would speak French whenever they're talking on the phone or among each other. And so the moral of the story is that I would be in my body cast, and I would army crawl to the playroom where everybody was playing Nintendo and stuff, and I would just like crawl just in my body cast, carrying all my weight and the body cast, just to play video games with my cousins.
You ever try to do that when they're watching a zombie movie and you just come crawling across the floor like, like, "Ah!" Oh shit, it's just Tyler.
Way off topic, but Kyle, can you show the audience your shirt?
What? Oh,
Show them your shirt, dude.
my shirt. It was just
Yeah.
a little experiment, you know.
That's
Just a little
fucking
something.
dope.
You
I
know,
love it.
it's we'll work some kinks out, but this could be something in the future. We'll see. Not
Yeah,
exactly this, but something like it. You know, we'll
it's a
see.
prototype.
It's a prototype.
So Speed Bump, how many surgeries have you had, man?
So I let's see. My first one was at 3. So let's go from 3 on up until 13. 13 was my last surgery. So from 3 I would have two surgeries per year.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm bad at math. Like I said, I can't count on.
Surgeries?
Yeah, I can't count on my feet and my hands how many surgeries I've had. So many surgeries. And then whenever I was 13, I have this import in my stomach. I don't know. You can't see it, but I have an import in my stomach. It goes from my stomach to my spine. And what it does, it gives me baclofen, which is kind of like a muscle relaxer or pain reliever. And it stops my spasms and stuff like that. Uh, and so they come in to my house, and I don't know how they do it, but they fill my stomach, and because it has like a little IV port, and so they fill my stomach, and they poke me, and they take the access medicine, and then they put the new medicine in it, so I don't have to take it by mouth, because whenever I was younger, I would take it orally, but whenever I was taking it orally, it would affect my whole entire body instead of controlling what it needed. Like it was controlling my train of thinking, and my motivations, and my hands and everything.
Mm-hmm. So through any of those surgeries, did you ever have an experience while you were under, like any like profound dreams or anything like that?
Like
Just anything
Not
that just sits with you, like in your core memory.
not really. Like whenever not, I didn't really experience those kind of experiences until I got, older. Like
What happened?
whenever, so
Lucid dream type stuff.
whenever I was in my addiction and I was, drinking and doing drugs on top of drinking, I went in my wheelchair. I went in my wheelchair down the highway to get more alcohol and more drugs, and I ended up getting hit in my wheelchair by a pickup truck. And I was out for like 10 to 15 minutes, and for that 10 to 15 minutes I went and I talked to somebody, and they told me that it wasn't my time. This isn't your time. And I think that person was my friend Coco. He ended up dying at six. No, I was 16 and he was 18. So he died in 2006 in a car accident, and he was over here at my house whenever before it happened. Like, and I didn't know where he was going. He just got a phone call saying, "Hey, I gotta go." I'm like, "No." I had this feeling. I'm like, "No, don't go, don't go." And he ended up leaving, and I got a call. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. So it was me, Anthony, and my friend Cody that died. And I was taking a bath, and I was dating Anthony's cousin. And he didn't like the idea of me dating his cousin. And he got mad at me, and I got mad at him. So we got in a little argument, and I was chasing him around. Cody was on a skateboard, and Anthony was on the bike, and I was in my wheelchair, of course, and I was chasing them around, and and then he got a call from somebody, and he left, and the next day I was on a date with Megan, which is my girlfriend at the time, and he ended up calling me. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to him. So she answered it, and he's like, put my brother on the phone, blah 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 blah, angry and hollering and screaming and whatnot. And I answered the phone. I'm like, hey, what do you want? And he's like, hey, Bubba's dead. And I'm like, it didn't click in my head. I'm like, who's Bubba? I don't know anybody, Bubba. And he's like, Bubba, your brother. I'm like, oh shit. And so he ended up dying in the car accident. And uh, so what happened was, I don't know until this day, but from what I understand, he went pick up a friend, and he let him drive, which is unbelievable because nobody ever drives his truck, because his truck was his baby. Um, so they left the bar. They left the bar, and uh, they left the bar and got in a car. In the accident, the car they were leaving in the car just hit him, side swapped him, and the motor and the engine was just sitting on his lap, and they took him out of the car, and his last breath said is that I don't have anything. I don't have my license. I don't have, you know, any kind of, identifications or anything. And he just died like that. And then Caitlin, which is his sister, ended up dying in a in a in a in a train accident. They they tried to jump the train track. Her and her boyfriend tried to jump the train track, and the train just. And
That's wild.
I said some pretty fucked up shit to Caitlin whenever Cody died. I'm like, you know what, fuck Cody, blah blah blah. Everything that I said out of anger, and all of a sudden that happened, and I did something for the first time that I haven't done in like whatever 20 years. I reached out to his dad. I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know that I I'm pretty much asking you for forgiveness for saying, for saying all them hateful things to Cody and Caitlin. And he's like, you know what, just let it go, and just get right with God, and because they forgive you. Making amends. And like I said, whenever that incident happened, he came to me and he said, brother, this isn't your time. And I want you to become the best you in your life. And I talk to him every chance that I get. And I talk out to the universe, and I talk to him, and he tells me every day and every night that he's proud of me for becoming the man that I'm becoming.
You're a good man.
There's your higher power, brother.
You're a good man.
This is hard.
Coco's your higher power, man.
Yeah, that's
You're
and that
good, man.
falls under they don't go away. They're always with you. Always.
Mhm.
We're connected. Even if they're not here in the physical, they're still around in the spiritual.
The
Yep.
hardest part,
Always.
forgiveness, forgiving yourself. The hardest part, forgiving
Because I blame myself.
Yeah. I know you.
You shouldn't, man. You really shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
That
You're
person
Nah, dude.
can't blame yourself. That person is truly having an experience right now. Like I said before, with my sister dying of a heroin overdose, and all the people that have gone before me. Those people are living with you, and you're carrying on that energy, and you're living alive in a memoriam of their memory. So you're being who they've asked you to be,
You're not a human
and you're
being.
living your best life. You have to forgive yourself, brother,
Yes, you do.
because the more that you fail to forgive yourself, the more that you're not letting that experience of seeing Coco. Is that correct, Coco? Is that what you
Yeah.
said? The more that you're not letting Coco be the entity and the energy that's helping you be who you are today. You have to get out of your own way, brother.
Right.
Yeah. Because you weren't driving that car. You didn't create that accident. Sure, you may have said some things at the time, but that doesn't mean you
That's
had
victim.
anything to do with it.
So
Because the reason for myself, blaming myself is because I believe in speaking things into, existence, and I feel like I spoke it into existence.
not your fault. Not your fault.
That's
Not your fault.
ultimately you have to forgive yourself completely and believe that you forgive yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
You probably never
that
forgive yourself. You got to try.
that pain you're gonna hold, and it's gonna stay there until you fully believe that you forgive yourself. And if you can't bring yourself to forgive yourself,
That's the surrender part.
sit down, surrender, and
Surrender.
ask God.
Completely. Unconditionally surrender. Say, I don't know. I need you.
God, that's the
It's
part
good.
about unconditional love is God forgives you always,
And he
as
already has.
long as you come to Him.
Fact.
I should say, because God is an energy. It is a light essence source energy that is behind all of existence.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
You know, whenever my biggest thing is whenever I went to, rehab, this was my first time getting sober, which was like, what, 8, 9 years ago. They kind of like tried to use the whole thing of like, oh, it's okay to, have your own version, your own vision of God, your own God, and then it became more, Christ is God, Christ is the reason why, the reason why you're sober, and it's like, okay, I get this. And then I kind of like believed it for a little while. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to church. I'm going to read the Bible. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. You know, getting kind of, you know, what's that word? Pink cloud, that high and, something, greater and than drugs. And, I believed it, but I started getting too deep into, religion, and, I don't have a problem with anybody that does believe in, God, or, not really particularly God, because I believe in God. I don't believe in religion, because I believe in whenever you put God and religion together, that's whenever, you start getting, the wrong,
10% of your paycheck.
the wrong idea of God, and the wrong, the wrong, you know concept about, God, the Garden of Eden, and, don't eat the apple of the forbidden apple, or the forbidden fruit, whatever fruit it was. And, but the apple wasn't the forbidden apple. It was the apple of knowledge. And, a lot of people don't understand that. God didn't want us to be, God like, because he wanted us to, believe in him, because he's the one and only God. He's the mighty God. So you can't be your own God. That's how I was taught.
We are all Christs, but the only one greater than all of us is source energy. Yeshua said it himself,
Are you
through
familiar with Speed Bump? Are you familiar with Christ consciousness?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a definition of what the Christ consciousness is. So, Christ consciousness is basically
Listen to this one. This is good. Listen to it.
what God wants us to be without the religion. It's basically who Jesus was as a human before Christianity was even here. And if he was God's son, which he was God's son, Jesus actually lived a life. He was here. He was perfect. He died when he was 33. He was crucified for these beliefs. And in
Right.
that crucifixion, he ascended back to heaven. And now, you said you were Catholic. We have accepted a Christ consciousness into our reality, into my reality, into Kyle's reality. And so, a cross consciousness, and I'm going to just give a basic generic definition of it, is a term used primarily in various spiritual and mystical traditions, especially those associated with New Age, Eastern mysticism, and some esoteric forms of Christianity. It has varying definitions, but the core concept is an elevated state of awareness or a higher consciousness that a person can achieve. It's a unitive consciousness, which means a state of realization, non dual awareness, or enlightenment, where a person recognizes their fundamental unity with God, the divine, or the universe. It doesn't, and this is the difference between Christianity and carrying a cross consciousness. It's not saying a fundamental unity with God or a fundamental unity with Christ, and that's it. It's saying a fundamental unity with God, the divine, or the universe. It's not subjecting you to one belief. It's a universal state. It is seen as a state of being, not exclusive to Christianity, that can be attained by anyone through spiritual practice, dedication to personal growth, and a focus on love, peace, and compassion. If you go
What
back and
John?
watch some of our previous episodes, man, we speak on this. We carry a cross consciousness, Kyle and I. We exemplify love. We exemplify unity. We exemplify empathy in everything that we do, man. It is also a divine, it has divine qualities. It represents the highest expression of love, forgiveness, wisdom, compassion. Those who attain it are said to transcend the ego and the fear of the material world. Jesus is viewed as a preeminent example of a human being who fully embodied this state of consciousness, earning him the title Christ, which is interpreted as the anointed one or Christed one, Yeshua, a title for enlightened being rather than a surname.
See when you
Other
look.
enlightened figures like Buddha or the Krishna are sometimes cited as having also achieved this state. So, man, I say all that to say that you can have this experience, man, and it's achieved in many different ways. And if you're not there, which it's okay not to be, you're like right there on the cusp of having this experience. Like
Right.
you can smell it in your cigarettes. It's like, dude, it's so close, man, because eventually you're going to get tired of not forgiving yourself. And what are you going to do when you continue to not forgive yourself?
Um, so I've learned a lot in, in a short period of time, and I learned, time doesn't matter. Time doesn't even matter. Remember that. And and like you said earlier to me, whenever you say something to me, is, you're talking to yourself. I do that a lot. I do that a lot with, a lot of the ones that I love, A lot of people, they either take it as me being, being the aggressive one, or they take it as, hey, he's only doing this because he loves me, and he really, really loves me. And, I got to do that myself because, I got to accept, that people do love me, and I don't understand why,
Deep.
people love me, but I'm coming to the realizations that, since I have started my journey of, sobriety, I've learned a lot in life. I learned how to be a little bit more optimistic and how to, you know, take a negative and make it into a positive, you know. And you can't have a positive without a negative, because if you have a negative and a positive, then you're basically not living. And you can't have, you know, you can't have happiness without sadness, and you can't have darkness without, you know, light, and you can't have light without darkness. And you know, I've learned a lot of, you know, how to accept myself for who I am. And you know, I could look myself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of myself. You know, I can't, you know, not many people, you know, with my conditions are, you know, going through addiction with my conditions. You know, my addictions come from my conditions. You know, like I hate being in a wheelchair. I hate not being able to do the things that my friends do. I hate not being accepted by my mom and my dad because I'm a slightly different. But I'm accepting, you know, that it's okay. I don't have to be my mom. I don't have to be my dad. I don't have to be whoever everybody expects me to be. I could be me. I could be me. You know? And how good
Yeah.
that feels, you know? Like,
Hmm.
you know how good it feels to be able to wake up and saying, "Hey, I don't need to smoke crack," or "Hey, I don't need to smoke meth," or "Hey, I don't need that substance. I don't need that. I don't need that to, you know, be a human being. I don't need anything to alternate my mind. I alternate my own, you know, my own mind enough. I don't need drugs. You know, like, you know, I learned a lot how to, you know, accept and forgive and not forget. You know, never. You could always forgive, but never forget what that person has done. And you know, not you're not necessarily forgiving that person for their benefit of the doubt. You're forgiving them for your benefit of the doubt. Because you know, like me and my girlfriend, we've been through a lot of shit in this past, you know, the past little time we've been together. We've been through a lot, you know, because she suffers with, you know, not accepting other, you know, who she is, because she's broken in her own ways. And you know, she's never experienced, you know, going through addiction. And but she's been through it in her own way, like not personally, but she, you know, her daddy and her family. And so it's kind of hard for me to accept that she accepts me for, you know, my addiction. Because at the beginning of our relationship, I was introducing her to, you know, the wrong people, hanging out with the wrong people. I was, you know, drinking and doing drugs in front of her. And, you know, I didn't, you know, whenever I got sober, it was like, okay, why are you still, why are you still here? And, you know, I can't do that. Because so in order for me to accept everything that's going on in my relationship, is that I have to have a better relationship with myself, and I have to close the relationship that I had with my ex. You know, I can't bring my past relationship into the relationship that I'm in now. And that's what I've been doing. And I realize that now, like, you know, for the longest time, I was blaming Stephanie for everything that we were going through, instead of accepting the fact that I'm the cause and effect. You know, because it's not her fault, it's not my fault, it's our fault. And I didn't understand that at the beginning of the relationship because of my past relationship. That's all we did was, party and do drugs and, whatever.
Do you feel like maybe part of you that is holding on to the people that passed away that you say you are having a hard time forgiving yourself for? Do you feel like that may have a little bit to deal with creating tension because you haven't fully released that tension?
Right.
Could be a form of projection in the way I'm seeing it, because the only way to truly forgive yourself is the same way you forgive another, with changed behavior. Because if you can change the core of the problem, the behavior that creates that problem, then knowing this and changing this, you can fully embrace the forgiveness because you know that you're not going to do that again.
Right.
Just a theory.
So, Speed Bump, do you like ICP?
Whoop whoop.
Oh, Brian would like to know, why do you go by Speed Bump?
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So the reason why I go by speed bump, I brought it up earlier. I got hit by a pickup truck. So my joke, I got a joke, I remember it was like yesterday. It was 2017. I was trying to impress a girl. She wanted a speed bump, so I decided to turn myself into a speed bump. So the moral of the story is that I was trying to go get drugs and alcohol for this girl that I was trying to impress, and I got hit by a pickup truck. So that's why I go by the name Speed Bump.
Ah, there you go, Brian. Your answer has been fulfilled. So you were the Speed Bump.
Yeah, I was the Speed Bump.
Right on. Well, not really, but you know what I'm saying.
How about we bring on a fellow juggalo? It's my
I'm down.
homeboy. It's my homie Jamie. I work with Jamie over at the treatment center, and this dude is duality in real form. Whenever I piss off one of the kids, they run to Jamie because he's cool, and they vent to him. And honestly, and I he does give a fuck, but honestly, at the same time, he's always got my back, and he doesn't give a fuck either. I mean, that's what makes him fucking beautiful. So, I mean, we're an hour and 43 minutes in. So let's since it is a live show, let's get a couple guests in here and we'll get Speed Bump fucking chatting with some of the homies.
You always have my back.
Oh my god.
Speaking into existence, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
What's up,
What
dude?
No, I'm
Nice
chilling.
mask.
You know, Rob been sitting here for fucking 45 minutes with this goddamn thing on, so I'm enjoying it.
Dude, I can't imagine the sweat that's pouring under that mask right now.
No, I'm chill, man. Like, air conditioning, bro. Come on, it exists.
Oh shit. Oh shit. What is Speed Bump getting? Speed
He got
bumps.
bumped. Oh shit!
He's got.
It's time. Ah yeah, it's fucking Halloween for real in this bitch. Y'all didn't know y'all was having a Halloween episode.
Kyle,
I guess we are now.
where's our mask at?
I know y'all got caught slipping. Come on, bust something out.
I gotta
I
go
ain't got one.
order a Luigi hat somewhere.
I fuck with it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So, Moped, explain the mask that you're wearing, bruh, and where the fuck did you get it?
It's okay. So technically, it's called a Forever Face. I'm a fan of a. It's all like you were talking about Juggalo related because everything that I fuck with pretty much stems from the Juggalo community. But there's a subset called Ala Zul Ilu that I fuck with, and this is kind of a representation of them. That would be another version. That would be them. So,
Holy shit. Do you know what he just said, Speed Bump?
yeah, I tend to be on some other level shit. Yeah. It's all good.
I'm guessing it's some of his friends.
Y'all look like y'all could be friends for sure.
Yeah, I look like I
Because
work in a fucking drug rehab too, don't I? I look like I'm on drugs.
I'm down with the clowns.
Woo woo.
Whoa, whoa. Hey, look. I don't know if you can see it, but
I got the world's smallest hatchet man on my arm too. Hold on, let's see. Let's just get it all out. Ah!
yeah.
Hey, my
Hell
sister wants to go get another. I think I'm gonna get a big ass one on my forearm though, just to publicly represent.
Hey, you want to see? You want to see my charm? Hold on, I gotta go get it.
You see
Get
what?
that bitch. Charm
What's he get? Oh,
necklace.
so
I bought it.
Go ahead,
What's up?
Jamie. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'll just say I bought a cheap ass one at Juggalo Island. 'Cause I had an old one from like 2001 or whatever, but that motherfucker's tarnished and beat up and bent and shit. So I had to get another one. They had a solid silver one. They would sell you for $300, but I got the $30 version. So you know, woo, go sundown.
So you have to work with Jordan every day, huh?
Other way around, he has to work with me.
Look,
Ah.
Oh shit, you got the disabled hatchet man. I got you, brother.
Oh my God.
That's dope.
That's
Okay.
legit.
custom made.
I fuck with it. We out here. I seen another
That's
one
what's up.
recently too. It's Juggalos in Recovery. I can't remember what the symbol was, but they had a whole symbol for it too. I thought
Yeah.
that was cool.
Y'all need to start
Another thing,
y'all.
we got Juggalo for Jesus for Juggalos too.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
my
gonna
God.
pass on that. I'm gonna pass on that.
Yeah,
I got
At
I
the
got my
treatment-
horns on tonight.
at the treatment center we work at, they have what they call spirituality on Thursdays and Sundays, and really what it is it's glorified church.
No, it is church.
Jamie
Bro
will
out
do,
there preaching.
yeah, he'll do everything in his power to not go to that hour of group.
It's not because I'm not against religion. I'm not against God. I believe. I fall asleep, bro, and it's a bad look. You can't be sleeping in front of the kids. They take advantage of you.
This dude will be snoring sometimes.
It happens for sure.
It does. It does. So speed bump, just by taking a look at Jamie and you can't really see him. What kind of vehicle do you think he drives? Because whatever,
Ah,
He definitely drives a Honda Accord or a Civic.
no,
hell no.
I was
He
gonna
drives
say
a
he
Buick.
drives. Oh, I thought it was
I
the
thought-
truck that hit you.
That would be synchronicity. We can do that. I'm down for that joke.
Oh man.
Yo, you want to see something wild? Let me blow your mind right now. So you know the depiction of Jesus, right? How they twisted his image into like some white guy, right?
Yeah.
So have you heard of a guy named Cesare Borges?
Fuck no.
Well, here's a dual picture of both of them side by side. I don't know if
I look like Weird Al Yankovic.
but like I'm just saying, dude, the connection there is uncanny. It's very weird and oddly similar, you know? Like
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go
And
out
I'll-
on a limb and say you haven't seen me and Jesus in the same room at the same time.
They do indeed call me Fat Jesus.
You have the hair.
well, we
for
are
it.
Christ.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
we've been talking
The
about
whole,
this.
let me get it all out.
Oh man, dude, I had
Also-
to bring him on.
I mean, it's bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely have the personality to be doing shit like this for real. I don't know. I think.
You do.
I'm
not like- I don't get like super insightful and shit though. Y'all had me almost crying for a fucking minute. I'm like, I'm gonna hold on because it's Jordan, my boy, and I want to be a supporter and shit. You know, I gotta hang on. But y'all be getting motherfuckers in the fields though.
We like to do that.
That's called conviction, Jamie. That's where your conscience is in that big ass body of yours. It's probably 0.1%, negative 1.1% of the actual size of who you are.
I just
And
like to embrace the asinine, the
You do?
nonsensical. I like to be the other side because everybody's so goddamn serious in the world. It's kind of like my reason for being at a recovery rehab is people in my life that I've seen sober. A lot of them are miserable as fuck, and it does not look like a good time to me. Like I want to be a motherfucker that represents the fact that you can be sober, still have a personality, still be larger in life, still go out, do shit, have fun,
Right.
fuck shit up, and not be fucking completely miserable. That's where I fit in the world.
yeah,
Now my beliefs and you know, who gives a shit? Nobody really cares what I think. Maybe you do, but in my mind you don't. So I'm gonna live that way.
Jamie's working on loving himself, Kyle.
Yeah.
So we're on the same level.
Yeah. I knew this would vibe. I knew it was gonna vibe.
Heck yeah.
Jamie,
You're on
how long have you been sober, dude?
There's the true answer and then there's the sundown answer. Which one should I say here?
I want the true answer, bro.
It was like I got arrested. Well, I went in for a probation visit and it was a June 28th, 4 years ago. It was June, July, August, September, October. 4 years and 4 months.
4 years, 4 months. What's the sundown answer?
That's good.
5. It's like, they want 2 years whenever you start working, but it was really like 16, 17 months. And a mutual friend of ours said I should probably sugarcoat the answer, but truth be told, they never really asked me in the first place. So I didn't actually have to lie to anybody, but I try to perpetuate an image for the kids. But
So you're
it
still
has
telling
been. Now I'm telling everybody now. I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
4 years. 4 years, 4
Yeah.
months.
Dude, that's still an amazing feat though, because like I'm a little over a year now. I mean, does mushrooms count? Does mad honey count?
No,
Like,
I mean, I when I go to concerts and shit, I'll take a drink sometimes. I mean, I'm not an alcoholic though. I'm a meth addict. I mean, I always like weed. I like Vicodins and fentanyl and crack cocaine and all that shit. I don't really like to sleep a lot when I'm in my addiction. And I legitimately quit smoking weed the last run I had because it was interfering with my methamphetamine addiction. So, um,
hold
yeah, recovery for me is recovery from that shit.
right.
So I do drink occasionally, but it's not an every day, every week, every month thing. It's legitimately when I go out. I went to South Padre Island recently uh for this fucking Juggalo Island show, ICP and shit. And I had some drinks while I was there, but we were walking distance to the hotel. I'm not fit to put my life or anybody else's life in danger to have a drink either, for sure. So
Did you never know where speed
on.
bump might be trying to cross the
He's
sorry.
gonna you just don't be crawling across the floor, okay? Especially in front of cars.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is definitely a bad idea. I had a He's not a friend of mine. He used to be a friend of mine, but he was real bad on the alcohol and was trying to cross the highway out here one night and got hit by a van and broke almost every fucking bone in his body. Did not end up in a wheelchair, but he's fortunate. But he did end up having like a fucking, he would pop 45 Vicodins, just sit there and pour Vicodins down his throat, and I was having to tap every resource in the area to try to get him pain pills and shit. So it's not like he came out the other side good or anything.
Hmm.
Damn. What
That's
would
a
I do here? Okay. Sorry.
that's a lot of Vicodin, dude. Like, shoot, I couldn't even. I take more than one of those, and I'm like, huh.
Imagine trying to poop on that many Vicodin.
You'd be
They always,
constipated like a motherfucker.
Fuck.
I never really had any adverse effects from them personally. I would never take that many of them, but give me 2,000 milligram boys, and I feel like I'm God. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just 10 foot tall and bulletproof, as they would say about drinking. But that's what those pills did to me, and I have to stay away from that shit too. So
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
My man. Fuck yeah. Hey, speed bump. The Will
Yeah.
C says it looks like that you're excited about passing out some candy. Do you have any candy over there?
Nah, dude, it's sad over here. Like there's no kids around here. Like even whenever I was growing up, yeah, I had a few of my friends, but not really. Like we like I don't know. There's no kids around here.
Well, I could see why if you're only passing out tamales. Kids want candy, not tamales.
Yeah.
I have like friends that come over and stuff like that with their kids. I normally get a bag of candy, but I don't know.
Just give them a bag of lukewarm tamales.
Jamie, what's your favorite kind of tamale? Is it pork or chicken? And don't say both.
I ain't had a tamale in so fucking long that I couldn't even really tell you.
Damn.
Probably pork though.
Yeah, I
I
like
like
the
pork.
Oh, that's the crazy thing. What about you, Tyler? What's your favorite tamale? You make them. You make a bunch, right?
I would have to say I like that's a hard one. I like the pork. I like pork.
You like the pork. It's
Kyle,
Who's
is that
interesting
trying to
how
road trip to Who's trying to road trip to Lafayette to get some fucking tamales? Woo!
whoop whoop? Is that the time to do that?
Woo, woo. Yeah, anytime's a good time. That's a
Whoa, whoa.
hello. That's a goodbye. That's a
you
these.
know, it's so interesting to me how in the Bible it tells people not to eat pork, but we've like made pork such a normal part of everybody's diet.
Bacon.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everybody eats bacon.
I've came to an understanding of why though that they don't want people to eat pork, because apparently pork meat carries a lot of toxins in it because pigs don't sweat, so they don't sweat out the toxins, and they also carry brain parasites.
I fuck with it.
We
Trying to
love
get all
Steve.
the, I'm trying to get all the toxins and parasites I can get before I die. Come on.
Well, a lot of those have direct correlation to mental health, I've heard. I've even heard things along the lines of parasites actually being demons.
Hey, that could be true, man.
People will believe anything for sure. I mean, I thought I had something insightful to say, but I don't. I'm lost.
So you're not like this all the time, Jamie. When you have a kid that's going through a crisis, something like that, do you just tell them to suck it up, Buttercup, and whoop 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 them out the
Step
door?
one. Step one is to resist the urge to just slap the fuck out of them for sure. Uh, I mean, it's just it just depends on situation and what's going on and who it is and my connection to them because I mean I've been there so freaking long at this point. There's none of them that I really don't know,
Mm-hmm.
except for the ones that come in brand new or whatever. But then you just it just depends on the situation. I really wouldn't even know how to answer that question because I definitely will treat, especially the guys. A lot of the guys, I'll listen to them and I'll be like, I'll kind of be like, yeah, he's being a bitch right now. You know what I mean? Or I understand, or I've been through that, or just whatever I feel like that person needs to hear. It really is on a one-to-one basis because you can't treat everybody the fucking same, even though you should be able to. But
No, I
you
know
do
what
have
you
to.
mean. It's
You
a
got to
so
keep.
Kyle, sorry, Kyle. So it's a very difficult job in the sense that it's co-ed. So we have more females than we have males. The males are heavily outnumbered. So every male there could be in a relationship with one or two different females at a time. And at being in recovery, the very first thing that you want to do is get a girlfriend. And one thing that I have noticed is there's not enough male staff there. There's a lot of female staff. There's three of us. No, there's four of us. There's four male staff, three other people besides Jamie and I. And what I've noticed is that these males, dude, like they need guidance, bro. And I wouldn't say that I have a favorite client or favorite clients, but I gravitate more to the males because there are so many other female staff that are available for the females that these males, dude, like sometimes you do have to tell them to like suck it up, Buttercup, and in Jamie's words, quit
Sure.
being a bitch. And
I wouldn't actually tell them that. Maybe.
Well, sometimes people need that reality check, because it's like you don't want to put out negativity and you don't want to hit a negative with a negative, but sometimes that very thing you think is negative could ultimately result in a positive for that person. So it's
yeah,
it's part of the
Yeah.
duality thing.
It's really just about knowing that individual person, having spent time with said person or persons, and knowing how you can approach each one. I'm always, as far as it being guys and girls, I always feel like I can be harder on the guys because we're guys and we've got that kind of situation in common. And I'm old enough I can be most of them's dad or uncle at this point. Uh, so I feel like I can come at them with that kind of energy, like, dude, you're being fucking stupid. You know what I mean? The girls, you got some of them take shit too personal, and girls tend to be more dramatic and more this and that. As guys should all know that. Some of them, if you ain't careful, will attach to you. I don't know if it's like a quote unquote daddy issues type thing, but that could put you in a situation that you don't want, and on multiple times, just because I am easygoing, because I do have just my personality or whatever, you know what I mean, just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
A lot I've had two or three of them like get too close, like, all right, bro, you got to chill out on that shit. So I try to be super guarded around the female clients because I ain't trying to have them come back and be like, oh, he was this and he was that. No, bitch, fuck you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Hell
Um,
no.
yeah, hell no. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. Because Jordan is always preaching the opposite of addiction is connection. And, well, sometimes that connection could lead to them wanting to get addiction.
Now, there's a difference between electricity and magnets.
Oh, that's good shit right there.
Right there with that, buddy.
Yeah,
I'll
I
let you
like
have
that.
it.
I like that. But
That's an interesting one.
I wouldn't, because I tell them all the time, man, I'm the same person there as I am away from there. And so I'm always trying to be better. I'm always trying to be progressing in the right direction. And so while Jamie and I have two totally different styles of approaching the kids, if you ask a lot of the kids there what they think about me, they'd say I'm a fucking asshole. But the reality is I'm kind of an asshole to myself. Like I'm always like I'm very structured in everything that I do. If there is something, a rule that I need to follow, if there is a some type of discipline that I'm trying to instill in myself, I hold myself to that standard. And so while they're there and they're in their little niche, trying to be better, you best believe that I'm holding them to every single standard that is laid out before them so they can be better. And I have to tell them a lot of the times, like, I'm like, look, because like I was telling you last night, Kyle, they'll line up in what we call twos. And so that's basically two single file lines. And they have to stand one by one right there in single file. And when they're in twos, they can't talk. Well, if you can't be quiet while we're going from one place to another, and yeah, that's kind of a simple rule, like don't, anybody can really kind of get away with talking sometimes. Whereas like if I hear one little peep, I'm like, oh, let's go all the way back. Let's walk 100 yards back to where we started and let's try this shit again. But if you can't follow the little rules in life, then what makes you think that you're going to get out and follow the big rules? Because all it takes is you doing 6 or 7 miles over the speed limit when you're out in the free world, get pulled over by a cop, and then end up having some drugs on you. Now, all it was you weren't paying attention to the little shit, which in turn now has got you in a way bigger situation than what you could ever imagine.
Tell a cop you tripping, bro.
Tell them I'm
Yeah.
going to invoke my Fourth Amendment rights. What's up,
There you
speed
go.
bump?
There we go.
There you
I don't
go.
know what happened. I lost service or something.
Yeah, I don't know either. Oh, you're sideways.
I think going with what you were just saying, though, I think a lot of what makes me a little more ambiguous to the rules is probably my criminal background. And just realizing that one, they're kids, and two, they never shut the fuck up. What makes you think? You know what I mean? Like they're just they're all unless they're in a fucked up mood, they're always talking. And
Mhm.
it's just I kind of just get tired of wasting my breath. You can't scream at them, you can't yell at them, you can't really tell them to shut the fuck up. If they want to, have repercussions based on what they're doing, cool. But I'm not gonna make myself suffer in the fucking process, which is a lot of what I feel like doing. Because I'm trying to go A to B. I'm trying to keep the structure in the way that we got groups and shit to do. We got fucking places to be. Like you can get in trouble later, but we got shit to do right motherfucking now, and we finna go do it. So be as quiet as you can be, and let's get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
The
Well, I
next
look
time I
at it.
work with you, then I'm gonna purposefully hear somebody say something, and we're gonna go all the way back just because we, in Jamie's words, have places to be.
I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna go ahead and set up for the next thing we're gonna be doing when you get there.
He's like, "Fuck you! I'll meet you on the other side, bro. You
Yeah,
can have that."
that's that free will we working with.
Yeah, it is. But patience is also a virtue, and
I'm
so
still learning that. I'm still
mhm,
trying.
Same.
All right.
well, it truly
Question.
is.
How do you deal with traffic? You get pissed off?
I'm not really unless I'm driving to Dallas. I don't really have to worry about it.
What about you,
No,
Tyler? Do you drive?
No.
No. How do you deal with traffic then?
How do I deal with traffic?
Yeah, dude.
So I have people's personal transportation, like to go to my friends and go to my shows and do whatever I need to do, go to my doctor's appointments. And it's like, so even though I'm not in a driver's seat, it's like, dude, what's going on? Why are we stopping? It's red. Why are we stopping at a red light, bro?
Also, you're a backseat driver.
Passenger driver. But yeah.
Okay. You gotta find the beauty in it though, because it's like it's so easy to get caught up in traffic and get mad. Be like, oh, this freaking guy cut me off. Like, what the f? You know what I'm saying? But like, you don't know what type of day they're having. What if they're going through some shit and that's why they feel the need to like get to where they're going fast, you know?
Right.
I'm just I'm just always like, that's your ticket, bro. I ain't tripping. I'm
Right?
pretty passive when it comes to that kind of shit. Like it if you almost get into a wreck with me, we can throw hands, but it's got to be pretty severe. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I'm pretty slow going anyway. Like I ain't really tripping about too much if I can keep from it.
Right. I had a friend from a while back talk about how he dealt with some road rage and I think he was saying his uncle, some guy ran him to the side of the road. They pulled over and they jump out of the car, and the guy gets out of the car and he straight up runs and drop kicks this dude.
What
I
the
was
fuck?
like, oh shit. Like, that
I'd
was
have liked
crazy.
to see.
I've seen videos of people do that, and then especially here in Texas, man, they get clapped.
Dude. Texas is the worst. Like I I I never really lived there personally, but I grew up going to Texas because I have family and I have friends. So I go visit them every now and then, and it's like, dude, the traffic. I don't understand like the okay, so we got we got ongoing traffic, and then we got opposite traffic. And we have 4 different lanes. It's like, what's going on? Because I'm used to 2 lanes. So we got 4 lanes? It's like, what?
That's like when I'm on the freeway and I'm like, there's 4 lanes and no lights. Why are we not moving right now?
Every lane also has a purpose, in my opinion.
So
You
does
got
every home.
slow.
I want to make my way out there to Austin. I want to put my name in the bucket.
Do it.
Austin's fucking cool. I ain't never been over there to the mothership. That's definitely a bucket list item for me. But I've been in Austin. It's a cool fucking town, man.
I was doing my taxes or lack thereof because I owe like $5,000. So yeah, different story. We're practicing acceptance and patience, and it's gonna work itself out and surrender in the outcome. Practice what I'm preaching. But the lady that was helping me with the taxes, she was from Philadelphia, and she was asking me about Austin. She said, I went to Austin one time, and that's where they have all them birds flying around. You can go down to this bridge, and there's millions and millions of birds. And I was like, those birds are bats.
Bats. Yeah.
She's like, yeah,
They
bats.
got there's a
Birds
Stevie
are
Ray
not birds.
There's
There's a
still
Stevie
birds.
No,
there's a
they're
Stevie
not.
Ray Vaughan statue over there. Like one of the main places where you stand to see the bridge, whatever it's called, Bat Bridge or whatever. There's a big ass Stevie Ray Vaughan statue.
Hell yeah. Our
Like,
friend Nana's taking a picture with that.
Yeah, I have to. Back when I was
funny if you're like,
married
What,
at the
the-
time.
what if it was a Ray Charles statue by the Bat Bridge? You know, they both use echolocation. Synchronous.
Then I'd had to do some heroin then, right?
An excuse to do drugs.
Well, I mean, up until 4.5 years ago, every reason in the world was a reason to do drugs, right?
Right.
right.
At least it was for me. I don't know about everybody else in the world.
Dude, literally turned 33, got sober, turned to God. The old self died, and I have been reborn as this new version of me where my shit feels very quite together. Feels like
mean,
it, not always, you know.
I don't do drugs, but I still am very much the same me I've been for 40 fucking years.
Right.
I don't know. It may just be an age thing at this point. You know what I mean? 'Cause I did all this shit so late in life. Like, I'm not. There's a lot of shit about me that I like that I'm not just willing to fucking change. You know what I mean? There's things about me I don't like that I am willing to change. We was talking about patience, and I think y'all were talking about regret and all that shit earlier, and I don't partake in that. I just what's in the past is in the past. I heard fucking Jelly Roll say one time, it's why the window on your car is so much bigger than the rear view mirror because what's in front of you is so much more important than what's behind you. So, and I've kind of, before I heard that, had kind of always lived like that for the last few years anyway. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I haven't heard that one.
It's a good one. That's about the only good thing I've heard from Jelly Roll.
man, I'm gonna put you on. Quit hating, Jordan.
I like Jelly Roll.
I mean, he's okay. He just, I don't know. Kind of.
See, I know Jelly Roll before Jelly Roll.
Before the country.
People like you and Jamie were listening to him in jail.
I was listening to him before that. I'm like, wow, what was that shit he did? I don't remember, but it was fucking fire. And I used to listen to it all.
I remember Jelly Roll back when he was just a peanut butter roll.
Pecan roll.
Swiss roll. We just name it
Yeah.
snack cakes now. Zebra cake, Nutty Buddy, uh, oatmeal cream pie.
Oh, those are
Ooh,
my favorite.
I love oatmeal cream pies.
Me too.
Y'all I heard somebody. I still ain't never did it, but get an oatmeal cream pie, hit that hoe in the air fryer. I've heard it's supposed to be fire. I don't know.
Interesting.
Twinkies.
I don't know, man. I've been like on a big freaking health food kick. My dessert is usually like a yam with some kind of nut butter I make and some fruit with some like honey almond oats or something on there.
I don't mean no offense when I say this, but that's gay.
I'll give you some of my nut butter and you're gonna like it.
When Kyle wants
No.
to press the nut, he just goes in there and makes some nut butter, whipping it up.
I gotta whip it up.
Yeah.
You ever
Yeah, deep.
you ever seen that movie Grumpy Old Men
Oh yeah.
Yes.
where he was where they were talking to the old man. He's like, I've been drinking beer, I've been smoking cigarettes, and I've been eating bacon. And I still haven't had no clogged arteries or COPD or anything. So I'm just gonna keep on going on, smoke my cigarettes, and I'm gonna eat my bacon and live my life.
I fuck with that
Me
for
too.
sure.
Well, yeah. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if it makes you happy and it ain't hurting nobody, do it. But also, don't forget that you're also with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's beautiful, Kyle. Thank you.
Like I
Even
I
me, I'm somebody.
You are somebody.
right?
Someone.
Oh my god.
And Speed Bump, you are somebody too, brother. We had you scheduled. You were one of the first few people that we got on the calendar, man. That's another reason why you need to quit being so fucking hard on yourself, dude. Because when we were going through who we wanted on, and I didn't even know Jamie at the time, but shit, when me and Kyle started this is episode 14 or 15 now. You were one of the people that were like, hey, let's get Speed Bump on here. He's out there grinding, going to shows, making his own shows. Let's see, let's get his perspective and let him have some time to share and shit,
Yeah,
dude.
bro.
You gotta understand the bigger picture here, man, and the type of effect that you've already created just from having that intention of wanting to create and wanting to make people laugh. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, um, I'm slowly but surely, coming to grips to realization to realize, hey, what the what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Just stop, bro. Just stop. You gotta stop and relax and breathe and you know, just enjoy what you're doing in life. Despite, forget what everybody says that hey, you're lazy or you're this or you're that. It's like blah blah blah. Like the teacher wah 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 wah. And it's like, I understand and I want to say this that um I appreciate everything that's y'all done and I appreciate y'all being here and in my journey and experiencing what I go through and cheering me on and like sending me like these just little bitty things, or just posting on, sharing on Facebook, especially Kyle. Kyle shares everything on Facebook, and it's like, holy crap. And it's like always like some kind of like inspirational quote of the day. It's like, okay, today's gonna be a good day. And I take what Kyle says to heart, into considerations, and I tell him every day, Kyle, I love you, and I love, the idea of, the character that you carry, and Yams, and I love Yams, but getting to know Kyle on, getting to know Kyle and Yams, and it's like, two different, completely different people. And it's like, you got Kyle as a human being, and you got Yams as a character. And it's like, okay, I like this. I like, hearing other people's experience in life, and, putting the word out, and reaching out to people that you don't even know. And it's like, and it teaches me how to, reflect, my kindness, and shine my light, and, share my testimony, like this right here, just being here on the phone or computer or whatever, just being on a podcast has, opened my mind. And just, watching, I haven't watched many of these podcasts, but the ones that I chose to watch, it's like, okay, I like what y'all, and it's like, whenever y'all are talking about, like, the combinations, like, taking everything, like, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Satanism. And it's like, oh, wait, did he just say Satanism? It's like, what the fuck? Like, because I was taught Satanism, satanic people were, you know, evil, because of the Bible. The Bible defines us from, Satan, because Satan is, the fallen angel, the archangel, and, the reason why we have chaos in the world, and so on and so on. It's like, holy crap. It's like, because, you know, I grew up in Catholicism and Catholic, and it's like, dude, it was rough growing up, because, I like to, dress, juggalo-ish or gothic, or, listen to, like, ICP and all, like, the juggalo music, and, heavy metal, and, like, all the music that I listen to, like, like Cannibal Corpse and Lamb of God, and, Adelaide Dying, and, stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, that's devil worship music. Why would you want to listen to that music?
Well, music holds frequency, and that
And let me tell you
tunes your
something, man.
emotions.
When I was on my spiritual journey, when Matthew McConaughey and Kanye West were a higher power of mine, I was dating a chick who I had met, Jamie. I met her in an IOP group that we were both in, and I was taught something, because in this spiritual journey, if we're open minded enough, everything is teaching us in each moment. And one thing that I was taught was that, and I don't practice this, but I believe that there is a lot of truth in it. But the Satanic Temple has a recovery group in itself. There is a
SOS.
it's the they have they it's just the Satanic Temple. But here I pulled up the tenets promote non-theistic Satanism, where Satan is viewed as a literary figure representing rebellion against arbitrary authority and the pursuit of knowledge rather than a supernatural entity. Yeah, so I can't really get down with that, but there is truth in everything. And this is what I mean by that. Here are the 7 fundamental tenets of the Satanic Temple. If you're in recovery, this is what they teach you. 1. Compassion and empathy. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. 2. Justice. The struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. 3. Bodily autonomy. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. 4. Respect for freedom. The freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own. 5. Scientific understanding. Belief should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's belief. 6. Fallibility. People are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. And 7, guiding principle. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. And look, dude, not one place in those 7 tenets did I hear anything about going and fucking up your neighbor, or hate, or anger, or jealousy, or rage, or loathing, or gluttony, or any of the 7 deadly sins. I didn't hear anything about that.
Have you ever read the Bible, the Satanic
Yeah.
Bible?
No, I haven't, man. Like I said, when I found that out in itself, I was like, holy shit, man. Like, some of those principles I can get down with. Like
A lot
respecting
of the
others.
Satanic Bible's about being good to yourself and loving yourself. It's a really just what's the word I'm looking for? Selfish type religion, but it also they're also like not breaking boundaries and uh, permission and shit like that too. I mean, it's not wholly bad, although there is some weird shit in there too.
Well, this is the thing about it teaching you how to love yourself. The part that people tend to look over is that your neighbor is the other self. Your neighbor is another self.
Done. Understood. We're done.
That's what people seem to overlook, is that
Right.
yes, it's okay to give yourself love and show yourself love, but also understanding that the person next to you is also an equal and deserving of this same love you give yourself. And those that resonate with that will stick around and will be part of your circle in the long run. But those who you do not resonate with, it's not that you hate somebody. It's not that you hold resentment or a grudge towards them. It's just you don't prefer their energy to be in your field. You don't
I
want,
don't fuck with you.
basically. I mean, and you don't have to. You know, you don't want to force a situation in life because that's how you get a hemorrhoid. But there's a big difference between Satanism and Luciferianism. You know, Satanism's more matters of the flesh type thing.
Yeah.
Satanism origins derived from various religions and cultural beliefs versus Luciferianism
Yeah.
derived from Christian and biblical traditions. The meaning of Satan is the adversary or the accuser. The meaning of Lucifer is the light bringer or the morning star, to which also in the book of Revelations, Yeshua or Jesus is referred to the bright and morning star connection.
Yeah.
Depictions often portrayed as horned demon or fallen angel. Lucifer associated with angelic beauty and radiant appearance. Symbolism
Hey.
represents religion and temptation, on Satanism. Luciferianism symbolizes enlightenment and angelic pride.
Right.
So they are
See-
very different.
But at the same time, since this is a reality of duality, you can contemplate that we're having this experience of love and hate at the same time, and every moment we're having to make a conscientious decision to practice love in everything that we do.
Right?
Yeah.
And did you know, if I remember correctly, there is an actual 10 Commandments of Luciferianism.
Fun fact about the 10 Commandments.
They're
Since,
the unholy sins.
like I like to say, everything has truth in it. And I mentioned this before, but where Moses went up to Mount Sinai to meet God and get the 10 Commandments, on that mountain range, and you can look this up, on that mountain range, it's normal mountains, and then Mount Sinai specifically is charred, like there was a fire there. And in the Bible, they say that God came down in a rain of fire, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I got some shit for you real quick. So check this out. This might have a lot of people that are not going to like this. The 11 satanic rules of Earth. Number 1, do not give opinions or advice unless you are asked. Number 2, do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them. Interesting. 3, when in another's home, show them respect or else do not go there. I enjoy that one. 4, if a guest in your home annoys you, treat them cruelly without mercy.
Yes!
That's it's there's some things that resonate, you know, but like,
Relevant.
it's also you don't want to do that. Number
Strike
5.
them down.
Number 5, do not make sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal. Number 6, do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to the other person and they cry out to be relieved.
Give me that Tesla.
Number 7, acknowledge the power of magic. If you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires, if you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. Number 8, do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Number 9, do not harm young children. Number 10, do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or for your food. And number 11, when walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask them to stop. And if they do not stop, destroy them.
Yeah! We fuck with
11.
that.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, how is all of that? I mean, there are some parts of it that is pretty bad, but also like so valid. Like, what?
But that's where the terms of, you know, you can't have good without evil and you can't have light without darkness.
It's like it's taking all these pieces and fitting them together from different things, because I do believe that not one religion is the truth or the right way specifically, but there are truths from all of them.
Yeah. There's truth in everything. And
Right.
all of them speak of a flood.
That's not too different than the shit I tell the kids at work either. Like, some of this shit is of no use to you, but there's a lot of things here that if you pay attention to, you can learn and you can utilize later in life that is beneficial and will help you and will, you know, be a service to you. But you just want to be obstinate now because you know, oh, I don't need this shit. I don't need this shit. But damn, you 15, you don't know shit yet. Just shut the fuck up and learn something. Take what you can from it and leave the rest of it behind.
Right.
Right.
And stop killing the fucking ants. Get away from that fucking ant pile. Those ants are not bothering you.
That
Number
little cricket
9.
never did nothing to you.
No, it
Poor,
didn't.
poor little cricket.
Oh, here we go.
They said it had one leg. I was trying to put it out of its misery. It wasn't miserable. That motherfucker would have hopped off on one foot if you'd have let him. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had a flashback.
Thank you for sharing.
So here we go. The 10 abandonments of solar activation. Solar spelled SOULAR.
All right.
Number 1, weakness. Know thyself, know thy strengths and thy weakness. Eliminate all weakness. Tolerate not weakness in thyself, nor weakness of others. Seek to strengthen thy presence and influence in all endeavors. So that's a good one. Hate is number 2. Those who harbor hate are toxic and remain victim to anger, jealousy, and imbalance. They who hate are not in control and operate not from a center of power. In hate, there is no self-mastery. Fear, number 3. Those who live in fear exist in a world of doubt, paranoia, and insecurity. Fear is the paralysis of progress, the greatest of which is fear of the unknown. Face
Yeah, that's me.
fears and face the unknown. That which one fears the most is exactly what they know needs to be mastered the most. Number 4, lies. Lies are of the weak, for it is a true sign of weakness in one that cannot handle the truth. Protect not the weak with lies to pacify, for there is only one path, the path of truth. Fakers shall not endure this path for long. Doubt, number 5. Doubt not thy truth and inner knowing. Remove all doubts of thy own true potential and trust the silent source within that is the center of power that guides you toward true greatness. If that which leads you believe to be your truth relates to any abandonments, then it is false, which in a sense means follow your intuition. Trust your gut. And number 6, happiness. Interesting. Happiness is a lie. For the wise know that happiness in and of itself is fleeting. Instead, seek that which ignites one's life and fulfills the spirit with a sense of pursuit, passion, and purpose. Fulfillment is the key toward the attainment of greatness. Very true. Number 7, triviality. Expend not energies in pettiness and trivial endeavors. Focus all thy intent and passion into thine own higher purpose and vision. Let those who lack higher visions squabble amongst themselves. Keep the mind's eye focused on higher visions of excellence, your higher self. Stasis, number 8. Seek not to be content and stagnant in one's life and one's work. Seek always to transcend, ascend in all endeavors. There is no focus for complacency, laziness, and laxness in the magnum opus. It's basically don't be lazy. Follow your dreams. Pursue your passions. Acceptance, number 9. Do what thy will, and do so not for the approval or acceptance of none other. Seek out
Yeah.
the acceptance of anyone other than the acceptance of your own self. Accept who you are and be who you are. There is no one else as you are. And number 10, suffering. There is no need for suffering. Suffering does not make you stronger, for suffering is a sign of weakness. Those who suffer have not the strength to free theirself from their own pain and suffering. This also applies to self-sacrifice. And that is the 10 abandonments of Luciferianism.
Pretty profound shit, man.
A whole lot of thys and thines in that motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I get that gets me like freaking all tingly and stuff when I'm like thinking about that kind of stuff. Cause it's like that's some deep stuff, you know what I'm saying? And relevant.
Well, I hate to come to the end of the show, but it is almost midnight where I'm at, and I do have to be up at 4:30 in the morning. So what we like to do at the end of the show, huh?
Sucker.
Hey, you know I'm Miss Deanie's favorite.
I know you. That's your boo, dog. That's your boo. I
Hey,
got you, dog.
she's 74, and when she turns 75, we're going skydiving together. Inside joke. I have to tell you about that shit, Kyle. So at the end of the show, but real quick, man, I think the biggest one is fear, and I've been sharing this with Kyle and a past guest, Carissa, in our group chat that we have, that Greg Braden, who is a conscious type fella, was just on the Joe Rogan episode on Friday. Really good episode. I think y'all should check it out. But the biggest one to me is fear. I think that we have to get rid of fear, man. I think if we can overcome fear, which there's not much that I fear. If anything, I can't imagine. Sometimes I get in my head and shit, and I'm like, damn, I really don't want to ever lose my son. I hope that I go out before him. But, that's just being a dad. But anyways, man, living without fear creates a very freeing lifestyle. And I think that once we let go of fear and understand that it is something that can paralyze us and hold us back, and that there's really truly nothing to be afraid of or to fear, then that puts us in a state of being able to be our most authentic selves. So I love the fear part of that I don't even soulful commandments. But as I was saying, man, at the end of the show, we like to give our audience some parting ways and some parting advice. So, Jamie, if you want to share a little bit of, something that you wish that you would have learned when, 4 years ago or 10 years ago, this is your time to share that. And then Speed Bump, if you would close us out, man, with some advice of your own, that'd be beautiful, man. And hey, it's been a beautiful evening. I've loved every minute of this. I am a little tired. Don't forget to like and subscribe this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Don't forget to hop on over to CWG and like and subscribe them, because without that, then, the Higher Consciousness and Lower Standards podcast with Kyle and Jordan would not even exist. So shout out to Harmon, wherever the fuck you may be this evening. And, be looking out for the next few episodes, man. We're rocking and rolling now. And, we're headed in a direction that with the way that the world is going right now, and I won't get into specifics, but right now is the time to be alive. Right now is a time to really channel that energy of love and compassion and empathy, and to really find your purpose, whatever that may be, because it's going to be relevant here in the next few years. And the things that we're speaking on, even though we've had, at most 9 viewers tonight, the, you can go back to these episodes that we've been putting out here in a few years and understand, like, wow, these dudes were speaking on some real truth back then. And, maybe we need to tap into what they got going on, because now is the time to really harness that energy of love, harness that energy of empathy, and harness that energy of compassion. So I'm going to give the floor to Jamie, and then Speed Bump, if you want to go ahead and share after that, that'd be fucking beautiful. Kyle, you got anything else this evening?
Not really, man. I'm just going with the motions and feeling a little slow.
Are you? How's that Mad Honey feeling right now?
I'm buzzing.
Jamie?
I guess in all seriousness, the only thing I ever really want to leave to the world is it don't cost shit to be nice to people. Let go of your fucking regrets, man. Like you were talking about fear. What's there to be scared of? You live, you die, fuck it. Everything else in between is meant to be what it is, whether you're trying to better yourself or worsen yourself, it's all relative in the end. Um, we will eventually die, but like you said, way earlier, we're energy, we're gonna be, somewhere else in the fucking universe at some point. So just keep moving forward, keep doing your shit. Don't let your baggage weigh you down and keep you from moving around, man.
Love that, man. Love that.
Heck yeah.
Speed Bump, what you got, brother?
So I would like to close out with this. I hope, me being here enlightened a lot of people. I hope, what I'm trying to say is, I hope that I shine bright, and I reached out to a lot of people, and they look up to me, because if I could do it in my condition, anybody could do it.
That's right, man.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, till next week, we got Mike Davis coming on, so y'all be looking out for that. Y'all don't even know who he is, but he's an AA guy, and he is in the rooms with some pretty popular folks. So maybe we can hear some anonymous stories from him.
Mm-hmm.
Break the silence.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the deets.
All right, guys. I'll see y'all next week. Much
Thank
love.
you guys.
Much love, y'all.